11 months in Kevin's decision to come to the Warriors. How hard was that decision for him?
Well, it was difficult. You know, of course, change, when you're facing change is always a difficult time, but it was because he loved Oklahoma City and the team and the organization. And so it was a little difficult, but he made a decision he felt was best for him. So many people don't like it, but it was good for him. Yeah.
So how hard was it for him to leave a guy that he loved, especially off the floor, in Russell Westbrook? How big a factor was that in the decision?
That was a part of the difficulty, of course. But he felt that he and Russ both could be successful apart, and that was quite obvious. Both of them had great years. But that was a part of the dilemma because he loves Russ. And I know right now their relationship seems a little off kilter, but if we just kind of give them space and room to figure it out, they will.
But it sounded like they made up a little bit because Kevin congratulated him on the triple-double year.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, I don't really – I mean, I think there was a little disappointment that Kevin had to leave and then that he left. But I think the love and the brotherhood is still there. I think the commentary on Kevin's departure really kind of played a bigger role in their relationship than needs to be. But I really believe that they're going to work it out. Yeah.
When Kevin made this decision, did he ask you, did you chime in? Did he say, well, Mom, what do you think? Or it was just totally him?
Well, of course, he talked to me about major decisions in his life, and that was a big one. And so I really didn't want to inject my opinion because that was a pivotal time for his life as a young man, that he has to be solid in the decisions that he make, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. He had to do that on his own because I told him, you're going to be the only one to walk this out. We'll be there to support you, whatever, but you're going to have to walk this out alone in a sense. And so I didn't interject my opinion. So I wanted him to do whatever it is he wanted.
So they're going to be mad at you because you didn't tell them to stay.
They have been. Oh, my God. I get questions on social media like, Mom, how could you let him do this? And I'm thinking, he's 28 now.
He's grown.
Yes.
So did you two discuss the possible fallout when he decided, I'm leaning toward going to Golden State? Obviously, it came across as, if you can't beat him, join him, so join the super team. And you knew he was going to take some heat for that. Did you two discuss that possibility?
Well, we did discuss, we didn't know it was going to be to this magnitude. I could not have foreseen this. I really could not, because Kevin is so loved by so many, and I didn't really think that they were going to question his character or his integrity as a man because he chose teams. But we're here now, and that's fine. But we talked about the possibility that the fans of Oklahoma would be disappointed and they would be hurt because they loved him so much. But to this,
it was bigger than Oklahoma.
It really was. It was global. I mean, it's been crazy. But, you know, it's a part of the game. And this is a part of the decision that he made. And so, as I told him, he has to walk it out. He has to maintain who he is as Kevin. He has to be solid in his line of demarcation, his constitutional fortitude, and go on with your life. Yeah. But it's been difficult. It really has been.
Can you foresee him at some point in his career going back to Oklahoma City?
I mean, that's always a possibility. I mean, we have the story history of LeBron James, right? So, I mean, it's a possibility, but I don't know. I can't say for sure with certainty that he'll definitely go back.
Because his old friend Kendrick Perkins said a couple of weeks ago, I think it was on TNT, right? That
I heard about that.
That he predicted that Kevin would go back maybe even next year to sort of reunite with Russ and make things right. Could you see that at all happening?
Well, no. I mean, maybe if he would have said it in a few years, there's a possibility. But next year, no, I don't think.
She didn't even give us a tease. She's like, no.
And the flip side of that, there was a report last night on ESPN.com that Kevin would be open to taking less money to recommit to Golden State longer term. Are you good with that, or you?
Well, I mean,
get no money back. Mama say I ain't getting no money back.
Well, But I wouldn't give any money back. But it's not my decision to make. But you know, he's doing well and he's done well for himself. But sometimes it's not always about the money. And so if he feels that there is a goal that they want to achieve as a team after this finals, then sure, why not? Yeah.
But tell him you can still accomplish the same thing, getting a max contract.
Yeah, get the money, though. yes, get the money.
How happy are you to come out here? I mean, obviously it's a very, very different being in Oakland and going to Oklahoma City. I mean, so how different is the fan?
Actually, I think the fans are the fans wherever you go.
Right.
If they have a certain loyalty to their team, they're going to be behind you no matter what.
Right.
And that's what I experienced in Oklahoma, and that's what I'm experiencing here. So with that, it's pretty much the same. Wherever Kevin goes to play, I'm going to go be with him, and I'm going to be in it fully with him. But I like the Bay Area.
Got the water.
Oh, yeah. I do. But I had Oklahoma City was a part of our growth process as a family in the NBA, and so they always have a special place in my heart. And I have dear friends there because I've been back about 5 or 6 times.
I was about to ask you that. Have you been back since Kevin?
Of course, yes,
wow,
of
that's
course.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
So I've never heard you speak much about Kevin's upbringing and when you first saw that he could play this game. Can you remember when you first had that inkling of he might be pretty good at this?
Well, when he first started at 7, it was just an activity just to kind of focus on each of my boys outside of the home. But I really wouldn't allow myself to kind of zero in that he could play in the NBA because I didn't want him to lose focus. I had heard it when he was about 13 years old.
Yep.
And I thought that was just too far. It's like anything could happen.
Right.
And so I didn't want to focus on the NBA. But when I realized it was his freshman year of college.
Yep.
Oh, what
At
a beautiful year.
Texas.
Oh, yes, that was a wonderful year. I mean, I was like, wow. I remember sitting home watching him like, oh, it's my boy. Yeah, he's doing wonderful.
You started packing up like, yeah, we going someplace.
Well, that's all right, too.
Was it hard for him to pick Texas and leave home and go that far away from where you were outside of in the D.C. area? Well,
early on, when my oldest son started looking at schools, and actually my oldest son went away to a military school at 16, so it was a little easier when Kevin was deciding where he wanted to go. But I didn't want them to stay home to go to college because I feel a young man needs to go off into the world and find himself and learn who he is.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I didn't want him to be home. And so Texas was a good place. And one of the reasons why we decided Texas is because I knew Kevin would be a leader. He wasn't a loud leader. He's very reserved, but his action and his play would dictate leadership. And so I wanted him to be at a college that would kind of hone that skill. And he went to Texas where it was just, it was 4 freshmen and a sophomore starting.
Yep.
And so I think he did well. It was a good decision that we made. Yeah.
No North Carolina, no Duke.
Well, they were interested, but...
Yeah, everybody was interested.
They were, weren't they? Just like a few months ago, but I'm not going to say that.
Tell it.
I don't care what they say. They still won them, right?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. But they were interested, but Texas seemed to be the place because at North Carolina and Duke, if I remember correctly, they have juniors and seniors there, and that they were going to get the playing time, but Kevin needed to be a leader right away, and so that's why we chose Texas.
What about if Kevin, in a couple of years, go to Cleveland, Georgia?
I'm going to Cleveland. It's as simple as that. I'm going.
You would love that, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Go about, well, Brown be like 12, 13 straight finals then.
You talking about parity.